Thursday, April 10th. Yesterday, there was a news story or an event where some kid went on a stabbing rampage in the Pittsburgh area. It's actually in Murrysville. And I wanted to get this recorded while it's still fresh and say a few things about it. First, this is not a red flag, so you conspiracy red flag people can just stop what you do. It'd be nice. It's not a red flag. From all news accounts that I see from the local area, I'm not from Murrysville. I don't live there, but the way the local news is handling it, it does not appear that anything fishy is going on. So it's not like a Homeland Security TSA drill or anything. It looks legit. Second, a lot of people are speculating as to why this kid did it. I don't need to speculate. The kid's nuts. I mean, sometimes people just crack. Now, what are the events that lead up to it? That might, that does require follow-up to see how they could try to prevent it. But people calling in on the radio show this morning, local talk show, had some good points. And one guy said that we're not teaching our kids to defend themselves anymore. And I believe that's right. My kids have been involved with some bullying in school, and luckily, well, for the most part, it's worked out where we tell the school officials, principal, vice principal, whatever, and they talk to the other kids. But it's twice, both kids, it's ended up costing us money. Both my kids wear glasses, and the first time, this was in Texas, a kid was jacking around and pushed the door into my kid's face, broke the glasses. We said, hey, we wrote a letter to the kid's parents, say, hey, you're gonna pay for these glasses. Of course, we weren't holding our breath, nothing. Fast forward to just a few weeks ago, my younger son, there was a kid on the bus that was jacking around, grabbed my kid's glasses. What's he doing touching my kid in the first place? That's a different story. Threw the glasses on the school bus seat and bent up the arm of the glasses real bad, and they're kind of hanging on by a thread. So we sent a letter to the kid's mom saying, hey, your kid did this, and not to mention, this isn't the first incident with the kid. So he's been on report with the school that, hey, this kid's trouble. So there's a pattern here. But again, no response from the kid's mother. I don't know if she's a single mother, if she's struggling. Personally, this is harsh, but that's not our problem. Their problem is their kid touched my kid and broke property. If roles were reversed, my kid would be in a lot of hot water, and I'd be shelling out some bucks to fix that other kid's glasses. So I'm not expecting anything out of the other parent that I wouldn't do myself if my kid did something stupid. The other thing about this, back to bullying, is that part of it shouldn't have anything to do with school. I remember when I was in school, some of the kids that picked on me, we'd be walking home. Of course, that's one thing that doesn't happen very often anymore. These kids don't walk to school and walk home. But when we're walking home, call each other names, and then we get in a fight, and I beat the snot out of this one kid. And I'll never forget, his name was Eddie. And of course, I was no angel either. You know, they called me names, you know, Chinese, Japanese, all that mess. And you know, and I called him Eddie Spaghetti. All the other kids, you know, he was kind of a big kid. So I called him Eddie Spaghetti, and he called me Chinese or whatever, and we got in a fight, and we were rolling around on the ground. And I think he knocked me in the gut, knocked the air out of me, and I popped him in the head a couple of times. We were done. You know, when we got all the fight out of ourselves, we got up, kind of mumbled, left, went on our way, and and somehow, some way, like within the next couple of days, we were best buds. And before that, you know, we were oil and water. We didn't get along. We were cats and dogs. So I think society now, in general, tries to suppress conflict. We don't teach our kids how to deal with conflict. And we don't allow our kids to burn off extra energy. I know a lot of schools, I heard news where they're canceling gym class because they, you know, can't hire a gym teacher, or they don't have facilities. BS. You know, I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s. We didn't have a gym. We had like a field. We had a tarmac. Went outside and ran around and played kickball. We didn't have a gym. So, you know, there are a lot of excuses on why kids can't burn off energy. I think a lot of it, that's what kids need. And then, of course, we were walking to and from school, so that burned off energy. So I think, to me, I'm not saying the whole root cause, is kids just have pent-up energy that they got to release somehow, and everything's suppressed, you know, and then they go home, they play video games, and some of it's by choice, but I think you got to get the energy out of these kids. And back to the point of, we're not teaching our kids to defend themselves anymore. Part of it is, if you defend yourself, then you're the problem, not the kid who's, you know, for the 5th, 6th, 7th time picking on the other kid. You know, oh, we have to use diplomatic means. Well, sometimes kids just need a good old butt whipping. You know, just like me and Eddie Spaghetti. I needed a good butt whipping, and he needed a good butt whipping, and we whipped each other's butt, and we moved on. I remember stories where if it happened in school, the gym teacher would actually give the boys boxing gloves and let them have at it until they, you know, got all the fight out of themselves, and then they go back to class, everything's fine. So all this bullying stuff, yeah, it's not good, but I think the remedies that the schools and the parents are given just aren't working. You know, we have to look back at what used to work and allow that to happen. Of course, nowadays, you know, the bully's mother or bully's parents want to sue you for defending yourself, you know, and kind of ignoring the last 10 times that they were picking on somebody else, and the school's been telling them, hey, your kid's a problem. There was one incident a friend of mine had where her son wasn't really even involved, but there was a bully at school, your classic bully, you know, hey, yeah, you look stupid, and you know, just kind of picking on weaker kids. And then one day after school, apparently a bunch of the kids who got picked on ganged up and beat the snot out of this one big kid. And my friend's son was walking home on the other side of the street, and he kind of caught the tail end of it. where like this truck, this plumber was driving by and he broke up the fight, and so the other kids scattered and the bully was left there bleeding. And my friend's son went across the street to see what was going on and actually helped the kid into the plumber's van, and the plumber took him to the hospital. And that was the end of it, as far as he knew. Well, a few days later, they get served with a notice that their son was, I don't know what the situation was, like, basically under arrest for beating this kid up, was being charged with assault. And, you know, the son's like, Mom, I helped the kid. I wasn't, you know, I'm not the one beating up on this kid, but since he was there and you know, the bully was probably out of his mind at that point, just saw him and recognized him and said, yeah, he was one of the ones. So he got named in this lawsuit or assault charge or whatever, and for helping out. So, you know, what's your incentive to help somebody out next time? You've taught this kid that if you're going to help somebody, you're going to get in trouble. So to me, that was just a bad situation all around. And once they determined what went on, it wasn't like, oh, sorry, you know, no problem. It cost my friend $500 to hire a lawyer to keep themselves from having to go to court and possibly, you know, sending her son to juvie or whatever. It's ridiculous. What a crazy world. So that's my kind of rant on that. We're just not teaching our kids or allowing our kids to blow off steam and take care of real bullies. You know, everybody's afraid to be labeled a bully, and everybody's afraid to be to defend themselves because they don't want to get in trouble. So then you've got the, you know, real bullies kind of preying on kids because they know they're not going to fight back. Now, we've seen news stories about that one big kid who body slammed the little kid, and that's usually what's happening now. Little kids feel empowered that are bullies. You know, they got inferiority complexes or something. I'm not saying all of them, but the small bullies know they can get away with stuff, think they're smarter than the system, and know that the big kids, the smart big kids, won't lay a hand on them because they'll get in trouble. And so then, what do you expect? But anyway, I got another rant about bullying for another day. So anyway, stay safe out there. Take care. Bye.